"You will remove that medal in my courtroom." The judge's voice rang through the chamber like a slap, echoing off marble walls as he banged his gavel. Silence gripped the room. All eyes turned to the man in uniform, standing tall and unmoving at the center. Sergeant First Class Thomas Reeves, a tomb guard from Arlington. His posture didn't shift, his gaze stayed forward, and pinned to his chest, glinting faintly under the lights, was the Medal of Honor. The judge stared him down as if the symbol of sacrifice itself were an insult. Reeves didn't react. He wasn't there to defend himself. He wasn't even on trial. He had come to support a fellow soldier, an accused man, a brother in arms. His presence alone carried weight. Yet the judge, who had never worn a uniform, saw only a disruption in his courtroom's order. The tension in the air was sharp. Gasps passed through the gallery. But Reeves stood firm, silent, as if carved from stone. He didn't need words. His presence said enough. And that, perhaps, is what unnerved the judge most of all. The medal on his chest wasn't some token. It told a story the judge never bothered to ask about. Years ago, in the mountains of Afghanistan, Reeves faced the kind of hell that leaves scars no doctor can reach. A convoy ambushed, a Humvee in flames, 2 soldiers trapped inside. Reeves didn't think, he acted. Under heavy gunfire, he pulled them out, shielding them with his own body as mortars rained down. When ordered to retreat, he refused. When offered evacuation, he declined. He stayed until every man in his unit was accounted for. For over a day and a half, he held the line alone, bleeding, exhausted, and outgunned. When backup finally arrived, they found him half-conscious, blackened with smoke, soaked in blood, but alive, and so were the men he saved. That medal was not a decoration. It was a burden earned with pain, loyalty, and impossible courage. And now, in a courtroom supposedly built on truth and justice, it was being treated like a fashion accessory, an ornament too bright for the judge's comfort. Reeves stood frozen, not out of fear, but discipline. He didn't touch the medal, he didn't lower his head. He let the silence speak. The judge's command had crossed a line no gavel could cover, but it wasn't Reeves who broke the stillness. A voice rang out from the back, crisp and powerful. "Sergeant Reeves, do not remove your medal." The crowd turned. A man stepped forward, his frame tall, his shoulders bearing 4 stars, General Wallace, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. His boots echoed on the floor with each step forward. This man has earned the right to wear that medal anywhere in this nation. In a courtroom, in Congress, on the battlefield, and certainly in front of any man who dares question his worth. The judge stammered, caught off guard. "General, this is out of line." But Wallace didn't pause. "What's out of line is your arrogance." The room fell completely still, everyone watching history unfold in real time. The lines between rank and robe had been crossed, and something bigger than law was now in motion. Without raising his voice, Wallace pulled a document from his briefcase and set it down in front of the judge. "By federal order," he said coldly, "you are immediately recused from this case. Your history of disrespect toward service members has been documented. This is your last day on the bench." The judge stood frozen, his authority stripped in the span of a heartbeat. Murmurs broke into stunned conversation. Veterans in the room stood and saluted. Others simply stared, jaws slack, unsure if what they were witnessing was even real. The judge gathered his papers with trembling hands, humiliated. Not by volume, but by truth. He exited the courtroom in disgrace, chased not by scandal, but by shame. Wallace turned to Reeves and offered a formal salute. "Carry on, soldier," he said. "Your silence spoke volumes today." Reeves didn't flinch, didn't speak. He just nodded once. He had never asked for this spotlight. He had only come to stand for a fellow soldier. But now the nation was standing for him. Within hours, the incident hit the internet. A leaked clip of the courtroom exchange ignited a firestorm. Tomb guard disrespected in courtroom trended across platforms. Veterans groups rallied in outrage. News anchors debated the moment. Congressional leaders released statements of support. The judge resigned quietly days later, his career dismantled not by misconduct in private, but by dishonor in public. And Reeves? He went to the White House. No speech, no cameras. Just a quiet handshake from the president, who told him, "You said more with your silence than most say with a lifetime of speeches." Then he returned to Arlington, to the silence, to the sacred duty of 21 steps, of guarding the unknown. He didn't need applause. He didn't want fame, because true honor doesn't demand recognition. It stands quietly. It endures. And when arrogance tries to overshadow it, it doesn't shout. It simply stands taller. That day, Reeves reminded a courtroom, a judge, and an entire country what real dignity looks like. And that justice, at its core, is built not on rules, but on truth.